Well, didn't see that coming. Mr. Fernandez spills the beans about his doubts concerning the paternity of little Divine after uncovering Ms. Butler's affair. This bombshell leads him to cancel their wedding and pawn the engagement ring, which landed him a $300 loss. He's now suing for that financial pinch and wants a paternity test to prove he's not the father. Stay tuned, because the courtroom drama is just heating up.
You claim you found evidence that she cheated and another man may have fathered your little girl, Divine. You called off the wedding, pawned the ring, and lost $300. Now you're suing her for that, and you've petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove you are not her daughter's father.
Just when you think it can't get any more tangled, Ms. Butler throws in a curveball. She admits to her fling, but is rock-solid sure that Mr. Fernandez is Divine's dad. Despite her slip-up, she's convinced there's no paternity puzzle to solve here. Buckle up, as Ms. Butler's confidence is about to be put to the test.
Cheating during the window of conception, you say you have no Mr. Fernandez is Divine's biological father. Mr. Fernandez, why did you the ring?
I was frustrated, I was angry. I took the ring back and I left. The ring actually cost about $700. I was only given $354, Your Honor. I actually don't have a receipt for the ring, but...
Before all that, when we first got together, he already had a girlfriend. He already was a cheater in the beginning.
Here's a juicy bit. Mr. Fernandez dives into how he discovered Ms. Butler's cheating, thanks to a little detective work with her phone. Spotting a cozy pic of her with another dude sparked a major showdown and cranked up the mistrust. The plot thickens, and you'll want to see what's coming next.
Now, how did you find out that she slept with somebody else?
I found out it took weeks of me. When I came home, it was just me and her there one day. I see her phone. So I grabbed the phone. I paid for the phone, but look, I'm a big snooper. I grabbed the phone, I look through it, I see her hugged up with a guy. I don't even, he's black. Just, who is this? I confronted her about it. Who is this? Who is this?
If you want, wouldn't have found the picture.
Who is this?
Wouldn't have found
see
the
that
picture.
Right there, you sneaky.
Talk about a soap opera scenario. The court delves into the timeline of Ms. Butler's romantic escapades, involving both Mr. Fernandez and another mystery man during the same critical week of conception. The paternity stakes are sky high, and the next revelation is a doozy.
You were intimate with Mr. Fernandez on the 1st.
Yeah, the 31st, the 1st, and we got into it. He cheated on me, came up with unlike sex, and then I went out with my friend.
You submitted this calendar to prove that you were intimate with the plaintiff pretty much that whole week.
That whole
week,
yes.
The 7th and the 8th,
yes.
Which is during the window of conception.
Yes, Your Honor.
When were you intimate with the other guy when you all fell out?
Like January 5th.
Oh, snap. Ms. Butler drops a bombshell about lying concerning her latex allergy to dodge using protection, Mr. Fernandez. This confession shakes up her credibility big time, stirring more doubts and drama. The courtroom's about to explode with more surprises, so keep watching.
You've now pretty much proven that you were lying at least about. So he now, of course, questions whether you wore the at all.
But the baby looks just like him.
I also have evidence I want to submit. And I was a newborn and her as a newborn at the time that I felt.
Hey, no, what do you mean?
Do you have those photos?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Fernandez and Divine is a baby, and you say there's no resentment.
But as she got older,
Look at the eyebrows, look at the eyes.
As she got older, baby don't look like me. She looks like...
No, she don't.
She looked like the guy that was in that picture.
Brace yourself for the big reveal. The episode hits its peak with the DNA results about to drop, determining if Mr. Fernandez really is Divine's father. The air is thick with anticipation, and this truth bomb is about to blast off. The resolution is up next, and it's a tearjerker.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Fernandez v. Butler, when it comes to 2-year-old Divine, it has been determined by this court.
And here it is, the moment of truth. After the DNA results confirm,
Mr. Fernandez, you are her father.
Told you. What do you mean? What do you look? You see her. Look at her. All this time you've been doing that.
Buckle up for a roller coaster of emotions starting now. Miss Boley Jack shares her deeply personal tale of growing up without knowing her father, explaining how the absence filled her life with confusion and emotional turmoil. Despite the pain, she holds on to hope that today's court results will bring the long sought-after answers. Her story sets the stage for a dramatic unfolding, and trust me, you'll want to stick around for what's coming next.
You and your mother recently appeared in court to help resolve a paternity dispute for your sister. This motivated you to get the answers you've desperately been searching. Your mother has always told you the defendant, Mr. Smith, is your biological father, and you hope today's results prove she's right.
The plot thickens here, folks. Miss Common, the determined mother, staunchly claims Mr. Smith is the father, despite his own protests and skepticism about her past life choices. This segment turns up the heat in the courtroom as conflicting beliefs clash head-on, magnifying the emotional stakes for everyone involved. The tension is palpable, and just when you think it can't get any more intense, the next exchange blows the lid off.
Past 30 years, I've had a number of emotions: anger, hurt, not knowing who my father was, growing up with other kids with their fathers and me not having a father. And even into adult, my children question who their grandfather is and I can't give them.
And that must hurt. Miss Common?
Yes, Your Honor.
This has been very difficult for your daughter, but you are certain Mr. Smith is her biological father?
I'm absolutely sure, Your Honor.
Things are about to get spicy as Miss Common and Mr. Smith hash out their past, each lobbing accusations and defenses. The courtroom transforms into a battleground of words and wits. Their recounting not only challenges their credibility, but also paints a vivid picture of a complicated relationship fraught with misunderstandings and missed connections. Brace yourself. The revelations just keep on coming.
When she was 1 year old, that he was the father, and I gave him her address and told him how he can get in contact with her. But he never did. He got in contact with her once, he didn't get in contact with her no more.
Miss Common has said you've had the information. You don't believe you're Miss Boley Jack's biological father?
No, ma'am, I don't believe so. She don't favor none of my kids.
As the truth starts peeking through, hold on tight. Miss Common revisits the moment she decided to break the news of her pregnancy to Mr. Smith, highlighting her strategic silence due to his immaturity. This critical juncture in their story sheds light on the complexities of personal decisions that have long-lasting effects on their child. The emotional ante is upped even further, setting the stage for an even more compelling narrative twist right around the corner.
And I went back to my ex, yes, because he was much older and much more, more responsible.
Yeah, but
do you remember this relationship, this summer love?
No, it wasn't like that. She lying. She lying.
If I was who was I horn with? Name one man I was with.
I only hit a few times. For real. Only a few times.
Well, how many times did we have sex?
I'm sorry. I just don't want to hear all that. Can we get back to
that was it.
Just when you think you've heard it all, here's a heart tugger. Miss Boley Jack recounts a rare childhood interaction with Mr. Smith that offered a fleeting moment of hope, only to end in disappointment. This poignant testimony not only underscores the pain of paternal absence, but also stirs up the emotional dynamics of the courtroom. And just when you're reeling from this, the next moment packs an even bigger punch.
You excited when you found out Mr. Smith? Do you remember this conversation?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And Lorraine was 1. So then what did you do to pursue a relationship with your daughter? Or did you do anything?
I didn't, Your Honor.
Even though you acted happy about it? So why didn't you ever show up?
Because he was too busy out there horning around, having partying and horning around.
I was doing my thing. I was doing my thing. I was doing my thing.
And so, Miss Boley,
man,
I know you were.
And now, for the grand finale, no spoilers, but it's a doozy, as the DNA results are revealed, and it turns out
it's been determined by this court. Mr. Smith, you are not the father. I'm very sorry.
You won't believe this start. Mr. Fahey steps up, petitioning the court for paternity tests for 2 kiddos, Nathan and Samuel, suspecting his partner Ms. Henny's fidelity, or rather the lack of it, has turned their love boat into the Titanic. He's really laying it on thick about how this doubt has been eating away at his heart, poor guy. Hold on, because the emotional roller coaster is just taking off.
Mr. Fahey, you have petitioned the court for paternity tests on the defendant's 2 children, 2-year-old Nathan and 8-month-old Samuel. Additionally, you have requested a lie detector test for the defendant because you claim her infidelity has not only created paternity doubt, but has destroyed your relationship.
Just when you thought it couldn't get soapier, Mr. Fahey spills the beans about Ms. Henny's escapades while he was off on a 45-day vacation. He brings out all the receipts, detailing confrontations and tearful admissions of a fling. This bombshell seems to really crank up his doubts about being daddy-o to the little ones. And buckle up, it only spirals from here.
I was gone away for 45 days, and when I came back, people, even friends, told me that she was messing around with a guy from the neighborhood.
We were not messing around.
You know, I was on the phone with him, and he told me they did mess around twice. When I confronted her about it, denied it. So I had him on the cell phone. Confronted her with the cell phone with him on it. She started crying, and then she admitted to me she cheated on me once.
Now here's a twist. It's all about the head shape. Mr. Fahey is convinced he's not the father because his head is like an oval, and the kid's head a complete block. Genetics, or just bad luck in the head shape lottery? He even throws a friend under the bus, saying the little tyke looks more like him. What's next? You guessed it, more head-scratching drama.
I have an oval-shaped head, okay, Your Honor? My ears are close to my head. Like, I mean a block head. I mean, his ears have a dip in them. I don't have none of them.
Dips in my ears. He has my
I
ear.
don't have big ears like he does. His sticks out more. Head. I don't have a block head. Mine's more of an oval shape.
You're saying your head is an oval shape. That's why you submitted this. Has a different shaped head.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you say his ears don't fall like you.
Just when you think you've seen it all, we dive into the paternity drama of kiddo number 2, Samuel. Mr. Fahey guy isn't buying what Ms. Henny is selling. He thinks the same guy could be the father of both Munchkins. Based on his detective work during their off-again phases, his suspicion meter is off the charts. Fasten your seatbelt. The truth train is about to leave the station.
And then when I confronted him about it, he was like, yeah, we messed around twice.
Let's go to your doubts around Samuel.
Me and her was split up at the time, and it came down to it where he was telling me, oh, I'm out with my friends with some other guy. And it's the same guy that I think is Nathan's dad.
It's not true?
Nope.
So you believe Samuel and Nathan have the same biological father? And Miss Henny, you say that's not true. But you all were broken up, so were you somebody else during the time?
No.
Amidst the chaos, Mr. Phi laments over signing the birth certificates. He's got serious regrets, especially if the DNA test turns the tables. He's already plotting a name change operation if things go south. And just when you think it's all doom and gloom, wait till you see what the DNA envelope holds.
She cheated on me 4 times, Your
It was
Honor.
not 4 times, it was 1
4
time.
times? So these are the birth certificates for the children. First, Nathan James Phi, Samuel John Phi III. Samuel John Phi the fourth, father Samuel John Phi the third. So you presented these birth certificates to show the court what exactly?
That he signed those saying that he is the father.
The courtroom's buzzing with anticipation now. Mr. Phi declares it's D-Day. The paternity results will dictate their rocky relationship's fate. If the tests or the lie detector sniff out any more secrets, he's out. Keep your eyes peeled. This is about to go nuclear.
Were you in a relationship with this other guy for a while?
No, we were not in a relationship.
And you still continue only slept with him that one time?
It was more than once. 4 times she cheated on me.
4 times or one time?
1 time.
Caught several text messages in her phone. You know, her
Talking to a
her
friend is not cheating.
Her ex-boyfriends and stuff like that, like, oh, I had a good time, stuff like that.
Surprise, surprise, the paternity test reveals.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Phi, you are the father.
Change what name?
Apologize for that.
Yeah.
Buckle up for this emotional roller coaster. Miss Jones begins her testimony by expressing how she felt unwanted and invisible growing up around Mr. Jones and his family. The judge prompts her to elaborate on her emotional experience as a child, emphasizing the importance of her feelings in the case. And guess what? It only ramps up from here.
Your Honor, I felt unwanted and lonely and visible.
Wow. Take me there. What was it like for you as a little girl?
Barely saw him.
But you knew him to be your father. But you barely saw him?
Yes.
Was in and out your life.
You won't believe what happens next. Mr. Jones admits to being intermittently present in Miss Jones's life, but challenges the paternity claim. He describes his doubts about being her biological father, sharing that he had questioned the maternity on multiple occasions and even attempted to get a paternity test done when Miss Jones was a child. Strap in, because there's more drama ahead.
Lakeitha was actually my child. Addressed that with her mother on many different cases. That she could have had. We went up to.
You said you didn't have the money for it.
No, that's not true. At first I didn't. I got there, and Terry knows that Ms. Brittingham knew that when we got to the hospital, I was there.
Did that just happen? An intense exchange occurs when Miss Jones confronts Mr. Jones about their conflicting memories regarding the use of protection. The judge mediates as they discuss their past, highlighting the uncertainties and discrepancies in their stories. Stay tuned. The next turn is even wilder.
Always use protection, never did.
Well, Your Honor, she acts as though I've been with all these many times. That's not the case.
So let me just bring you up, ma'am. You're Lakeitha's mom,
Yes.
Miss Jones, and you were in a relationship with Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Get ready for some real talk. Miss Jones's mother, Ms. Brittingham, steps forward to share her perspective. She recounts the emotional distress her daughter faced due to Mr. Jones's denial and his inconsistent presence, contributing to the narrative of Miss Jones feeling invisible throughout her childhood. The courtroom's reaction to the upcoming bombshell will floor you.
He is on the birth certificate. I have a copy right here if you'd like to.
You were still in a relationship with Mr.
Yes.
No, Your Honor, that's not correct. That is not correct.
So at the point that you find out pregnant and during the pregnancy, was he around?
Once I told him I was pregnant, I was dismissed.
So he wasn't there through the pregnancy?
No.
He wasn't there through the birth?
No.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, a dramatic revelation unfolds as the judge delves deeper into the allegations of Mr. Jones avoiding a paternity test. The testimonies clash with vivid descriptions of an alleged hospital visit that Ms. Brittingham claims she cannot remember, raising questions about the truthfulness of past events. The revelations keep coming, and the next one is a doozy.
I turned around, looked to see what she.
Because I was never
she
there
was walking
at
out the
the
door.
hospital. There.
Yes, you were.
I told you before, I don't remember it. I don't have Alzheimer's.
Your
What
Honor,
went on?
I told her, Your Honor, she was right there.
I mean, he would always tell me she's she's not mine, she's not mine. And I told him, I said, one day you're gonna need somebody and she's gonna be the one you're gonna have to turn to.
Here comes a twist. As the discussion shifts to family dynamics, Mr. Jones expresses uncertainty about not inviting Miss Jones to family reunions, while audience members and family testimony support Miss Jones's likeness to other family members. This segment underscores the emotional and familial complexities surrounding her paternity case. The tension is building, and the climax is just moments away.
You felt like his wife should know you were having a baby?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Called her, what did she say?
Because I told her who I was. My name is Terry, and I'm having Jerome's baby. I am pregnant by Jerome, and I need him to start stepping up and doing what he needs. She is the one I'm sorry that was hurt. Well, I'm definitely sorry she's hurt.
Are you ready for this? The final moments of the court session are intense and emotional. The judge prepares to reveal the DNA test results after a heartfelt discussion about the nature of fatherhood and the profound impact of Mr. Jones's actions and presence on Miss Jones's life. The big reveal is coming up next, and it's a jaw-dropper.
When a child says in the courtroom that I felt invisible to my father, that almost broke me down. I believe it's time for the results, and I think that's going to be the start of a lot of the healing that needs to take place here.
Prepare for the big reveal. DNA results are disclosed.
Mr. Jones, you are not Lakeisha's father.
And that's fine.
Ms. Webster opens the case by declaring shocking news about her paternity doubts regarding Myron Smith, who she thought was her father and had paid child support for her. She claims Mr. Ware is her biological father and anticipates the test results will confirm her belief. You won't believe what's coming up next.
Ms. Webster, you recently learned shocking news that Myron Smith, the man you believe your dad and who paid child support for you, may not be your biological father. Now you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Ware, to paternity court to prove that he is your father and claim today's results will prove your case.
It's mind-boggling how certain he is. Mr. Ware acknowledges a past relationship with Ms. Webster's mother around her conception time, but has always believed another man was her father, based on the mother's statements and the time elapsed. Hang tight, because Ms. Webster's next revelation will really stir the pot.
Mr. Ware, you admit that you had a relationship with Webster's mother around the time of conception, but say for the past 40 years, you were told Mr. Smith was her father.
Things are about to get even spicier. Ms. Webster shares a personal story about her doubts, spurred by comments from Mr. Ware's relatives and inconsistencies in blood type with Mr. Smith. She also notes Mr. Ware's family's presence at her birth, deepening her suspicions. Buckle up. Mr. Ware's explanation next will add another twist to this tangled tale.
Cousin, Miss Smith, and she said, I really believe in my heart that Mr. Ware is your father. She said, you walk like him, you chuckle like him. She said, if I close my eyes and you both chuckle, you wouldn't know the difference. I had a baby book for a long time, and I never started putting things together until the blood type wasn't the same. And I'm looking in the baby book, relatives of Mr. Ware's family that signed in when I was born, they bought gifts.
This adds a whole new level of intrigue. Mr. Ware details his past relationship with Ms. Webster's mother, including the geographical and temporal circumstances that lead him to believe he is not the father. He explains that Ms. Webster's mother had explicitly told him the child was from another man. But wait, the emotional church encounter next is a real heart-tugger.
You knew of this young woman.
Yes, I did.
But you do not believe you're her biological father.
No, I do not. Because at the time when her mom and I she was in between two cities, Louisville, Kentucky, and she would spend months there and months here. During that time, when she became pregnant, she explained to me that she was and that it was another man's child.
So she told you?
Yes, she did.
That it was someone else's baby?
Yes, she did.
You can't make this stuff up. Ms. Webster describes a poignant moment at church where she prayed for a sign about her paternity, and unexpectedly, Mr. Ware stood behind her during the prayer, intensifying her belief in a possible connection. But don't go anywhere. Mr. Smith's testimony is just around the corner, and it's a doozy.
We went to visit him at his church. I knew who he was, but he didn't know who I was. I just been praying, that I find out who my father is. There's things in my life, blocks and stumbles I've been going through. There's things goals I'm achieving, and knowing who my father is one of them. And I came to the Lord. I went to the altar. They had altar call. I just prayed that God give me a sign to reveal what's going on.
This testimony throws a wrench in everything. Mr. Smith testifies about his timeline and reasons for doubting he is Ms. Webster's biological father, citing his military service and the timings of his leaves, which do not align with Ms. Webster's conception. The roller coaster continues with the paternity results that are about to drop a major bomb.
We're gonna go right up here to the witness stand, please.
You know we're here discussing the paternity as it relates to Miss Webster. You have been paying child support.
Yes, I have.
But you don't believe you're her biological father.
No, I don't. I'll tell you why.
Please.
Miss Webster was born, which means that she had to be conceived either late December or January of 76 or late December of 75. I was in the United States Army, stationed in Fort Hood, Texas. So right there, she was born September the 17th. Last time I was home on leave was late November.
Get ready for a curveball. The court reveals that.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Ware, you are not her. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Get ready for a wild ride. Ms. Beckley strides into the courtroom, determined to prove that Mr. Allen is the father of her 1-year-old daughter, Idalay Beckley. She's fed up with his minimal involvement and is here to demand he steps up from today forward. Buckle up, the drama train is leaving the station.
Ms. Beckley, you are in court today to prove Mr. Allen is the biological father of your 1-year-old daughter, Idalay Beckley.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say Mr. Allen has only seen his daughter one time since she has been born, and you want him to take responsibility starting today.
This is about to get spicy. Mr. Allen throws a curveball, completely denying he's Idalay's dad and blaming Ms. Beckley for causing drama that's affecting his current relationship. His denial is firm, filled with conviction and a side of sass. Get your popcorn ready. It's heating up.
You say you are more than certain you are not biological father and claim Ms. Beckley's accusations are driving a wedge between you and your fiance. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Things are heating up now. Ms. Beckley unleashes her frustration, detailing how Mr. Allen has been MIA since day one. Her anger is palpable as she chokes up, demanding he acknowledge their daughter. Strap in, folks. It's about to get even bumpier.
I'm very angry, very frustrated. He's been neglecting her from day one since I got pregnant. And I'm just sick of it, and I just want him to take responsibility of something we both made. It makes me feel angry. She's without a father. It's terrible that she has to go through that, and I'm raising her on my own. I just feel like you should be a dad to her, because you are her father.
When you feel the tension, the plot thickens as they recount the night of conception, which Mr. Allen labels as nothing more than angry sex. This revelation sparks a fiery exchange about the responsibilities that come with unprotected moments. Watch out, the truth bombs are just starting to drop.
He wasn't staying with me, but he ended up coming back on her birthday. We had sex, unprotected.
It wasn't baby making sex. It was angry sex.
It's not about baby making sex. Sex is sex.
It was angry sex, Your Honor. It was out of revenge.
Sex is sex, and she's still here as a baby. It don't matter what type of sex it was unprotected, period.
It was angry sex. I was mad at the fact that she put me at the house, that I had been there taking care of her and the children. She put me out the house. 4 months later, I come back on my daughter's birthday. Day or two later, you tell me that you're pregnant.
Here comes the evidence. Ms. Beckley presents the birth certificates, highlighting Mr. Allen's absence on Idalay's document. It's a visual mic drop that spells out his denial in black and white. Hang tight, the next reveal is a doozy.
I was at the hospital by myself. He was not there. I have evidence, Your Honor.
I'd like to see it.
He signed Germany's and Xavier's birth certificate. Hers is not signed.
So the first one is for Germany, Jacqueline, and Allen. Father's name's there. Xavier, Dantes, Tyrell, Jerome, Allen. Father's name is there. Beckley, no father. Listed.
You won't believe this twist. Mr. Allen claims he's been denied a DNA test not once, but twice, adding layers to his doubt and framing the narrative of his frustration. The roller coaster isn't over yet, more loops to come.
You denied me a DNA test twice, and now you're telling me I don't deserve it? I have children, and all of them have my last name. I didn't have my biological father in my life, so it would be a shame for me not to step up for mine.
You denied her from the point I told you I was pregnant.
Denied me the DNA test not once, but twice. That's what gave me further doubt. For the fact that the way she told me that she pregnant was too fast, time of conception, she said that the baby went full term.
This next part is key. Mr. Allen shares his struggle with feeling alienated from Idalay, blaming Ms. Beckley for keeping their daughter away during scheduled visits. It's a tug of war with Idalay in the middle. Next up, more sparks are about to fly.
She don't make Italy a factor to my life.
You're denying her. Why would I bring her to see you?
She gave Italy her last name for the simple fact that she want to hurt me and break me down as a
she
want to break me down as a man.
That's why.
Like I said, I didn't have my biological. He was murdered the year that I was. So it will be a shame not for me to be there for my children.
I'm here raising her, going through the pregnancy by myself.
A whole year?
Deny
me a DNA test for a whole year?
I didn't deny you nothing.
Listen up for some wisdom. The judge steps in with a life lesson about quality over quantity in parenting. She stresses the importance of responsible fatherhood versus simply increasing the head count. Don't wander off now. The climax is right around the corner.
I work hard for every dollar to provide for my children. If that's the case, I wouldn't have my beautiful fiance fiance with me. She know that I work hard as a man to provide for my.
Before she said anything, Your Honor, she has nothing to do with it. Whatever she says is false and is irrelevant. She don't know me, I don't know her.
Okay, let me be the judge of that since I'm the judge. State your name for the record.
Montgomery, I'm Darius' fiance. Your Honor told Darius that he was not the father. It's been said that she's told another guy he was the father.
Time for the big reveal. The DNA results are finally disclosed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Allen, you are the father.
Told you. Stepmama. Stepmama.
Stop.
Brace yourselves, folks. Mr. Taylor describes the emotional turmoil when Ms. Jackson, at 9 months pregnant, first doubted his paternity and then later affirmed it. He expresses his hope that he is not the father due to the betrayal. The tension only escalates from here. Just wait, it gets juicier.
Mr. Taylor, you say your fiance, Ms. Jack, dropped a bombshell on you when she was 9 months pregnant and told you that you may not be the child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
She later changed her mind and said, are Raymond's father. And while you're hoping he's yours, you're here today to prove that Raymond is not your biological child.
Get ready for a bombshell. Ms. Jackson admits to having an affair during the conception window and is in court to prove to Mr. Taylor that he is indeed the father of her child, despite her infidelity. The courtroom is about to heat up even more. You're not going to believe what happens next.
You admit to an affair during the window of conception with Mr. Green, who will join us momentarily, but you are in court today to Mr. Taylor that he is your son's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on to your seats. This statement hits hard. Mr. Taylor passionately declares that if the child is not his, he will leave the relationship, underlining his commitment to the child he has been raising. Stay tuned. The drama intensifies next. Things are about to get even wilder.
And the only thing that I do know is that if this child ain't mine, I'll be walking out this courtroom today a single man.
You all are engaged. You have a family together. So there is a lot at stake here. Do you understand, Ms. Jackson? In your opinion, do you believe he has a right to doubt?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. I believe that he has a right to doubt it. He knows how much I care for him, and I am praying today that the results show that he is the father of Raymond because our relationship is riding on.
This part is a real tearjerker. An intense exchange occurs where Mr. Taylor admits to leaving Ms. Jackson and the children in Florida to pursue a job opportunity in Atlanta, triggering Ms. Jackson's infidelity with Mr. Green, who provided emotional support during Taylor's absence. Watch how this unfolds even further. The emotional roller coaster doesn't stop here.
Knowing that we had nobody and knowing that we had nothing, and I felt alone, and I felt as if I had no one, and I felt that Mr. Green was there for Mr. Taylor was not there for me.
Did you leave her stranded?
Yes, for a job opportunity in Atlanta. You gotta understand, it was my girlfriend and our kids in the shelter. I couldn't do nothing there because it wasn't no job opportunities in Atlanta. I tried to get in contact with her. When she was there, she was at a youth shelter.
You'll need to sit down for this one. During a heated discussion, it's revealed that Ms. Jackson felt abandoned and turned to Mr. Green only a few weeks after Mr. Taylor left for Atlanta, leading to doubts about the child's paternity. The consequences of these actions are about to come to light. Buckle up for the next twist.
This supposed job opportunity that he had, during this job opportunity, he never sent me or the kids any money. We barely had any contact with him. There was no one for me to turn to but Mr. Green. He was the person there for me, giving me emotional support. That was what I needed at that time.
So how long after Mr. Taylor left for Atlanta did you turn to Mr. Green?
A few weeks.
3 days later, she was pregnant by October 12th. I left September 14th. That was less than a month.
No,
That's a lie.
I didn't do it right away.
Ooh, I'm so mad.
This twist was completely out of left field. Mr. Taylor reveals that he only became aware of the paternity issue when a third party informed him via Facebook that Ms. Jackson might be pregnant by Mr. Green. What happens next is even more startling. The plot thickens.
In your statement to the court, you said you didn't learn about this 9 months pregnant?
Yes, a guy that was on Facebook, he inboxed basically telling me that LaJoy was pregnant by Mr. Green. That was my first time even hearing about it. I confronted her.
Now, have you talked to her? You've been talking to her on the phone, and she's never mentioned I'm pregnant.
But I confronted her about it.
We didn't have a lot of contact with each other,
Yes, we
and
did.
I was still having a lot of, emotional
made
questions
good
over our
good
relationship.
Facebook.
This exchange is a major turning point. Tensions escalate as Mr. Taylor and Ms. Jackson discuss the discovery of text between Ms. Jackson and Mr. Green, exposing further details of their relationship and the confusion over the child's paternity. The next part will leave you speechless. The revelations keep coming.
And you could see it all there.
I can't trust her.
Jerome, it's time for me to hear from Mr. Green. Will you please escort him into the courtroom? Mr. Green,
Hi.
you did have a sexual relationship with Ms. Jack, am I correct?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
What was the nature of that relationship?
Yes, I met her in the shelter. When I met her, she told me that he had left her for a rap career in Atlanta. Just left and didn't want nothing to do with her. So I'm sitting there and I feel bad. Right? So I sit there, I feel bad. She got 2 kids.
Here's a heartfelt confession. Despite the chaos surrounding his relationship with Ms. Jackson and the paternity of Raymond, Mr. Taylor details his deep emotional and practical investment in all of Ms. Jackson's children, highlighting his role as a caregiver. The conclusion of this drama is just around the corner. Get ready for the climax.
Yeah,
and you
I do
support
everything.
the children.
I do everything. All her kids.
Thank you.
Clothes, I got that. I'm their best friend. They all tell you. They play with me more than their own mama. I'm the playmate. Daddy, let's play. Let's play fire truck. Let's play dinosaur. Let me climb in your black. Little games that we made up.
And if this child is yours, after hearing the testimony presented today and understanding that a few more have come together in your mind,
you'll never see this coming. The court session culminates with the DNA results revealing
it has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Green.
That's fine.
Can you believe what just went down? Mr. Slaughter unpacks his past fling with Ms. Johnson and his astonishment upon learning he might be a dad. His doubt stems from the lack of resemblance and the suspicious timing of Ms. Johnson's revelation, poking at the long delay in her bringing up this possibility. The judge and Ms. Johnson clear the air about when conversations actually happen, shedding light on Ms. Johnson's scramble to contact possible fathers after ruling out another man as her son's father. You won't believe what happens next. Stick around.
Did you find out about Damien?
We met through a mutual friend. I know it might have been sometime in the early 90s. We kind of lost track of each other after, our relations, and then I seen her later on in life, possibly about 2 years ago, that I might be a possible father for Mr. Johnson. And my first reaction to that, I don't think so. He doesn't look anything like me, and why would you wait till he's a grown man?
Hold the phone. Did that actually just happen? The spotlight's on young Mr. Johnson as he airs out his frustrations about the solo battles his mom faced. He makes a heartfelt plea for the would-be dads to come forward and help his mom, pinpointing the emotional toll of growing up fatherless and his enduring quest for a paternal connection. Just when you think it can't get more heartfelt, the emotional stakes go even higher in the next part.
We didn't have the money. Like, my mom was doing everything by herself. And nobody else wanted to step up and help my mom out, It's like everybody else. Everybody else wants to know who their dad is. I want to know who my dad is. It just shouldn't matter because I'm 22. It didn't matter if I'm 13. My mom's being a mom and she's trying to figure this out. So these men just need to step up and help her out. You can't do it by herself. She didn't make me by herself.
You are correct, young man.
You've got to hear this one. Mr. Slaughter, upon being questioned about the possibility of being Mr. Johnson's dad, vows to step up as a positive influence and role model. His readiness to fulfill fatherly duties shines through, underpinning the essential role of a dad in a young man's life. The sincerity is real here, folks. But wait, there's more. Grab your tissues for the next segment.
If I am proven to be Mr. Johnson's father, I'm gonna definitely be a good role model to him, stuff that a dad is supposed to do for a up-and-coming young man. I know it's very important for a young man to have a father in his life.
How does that make you feel when he says he would like to be there for you?
It feels good knowing that somebody is step up and be there,
Whoa, talk about an emotional whirlwind. Ms. Johnson directly addresses her son in court, openly expressing her immense pride and unconditional love for him. This tender moment highlights the deep personal impact and the emotional weight of their situation, drawing a clear picture of their close bond. The plot thickens and tugs at the heartstrings even more just around the corner.
Is there anything you want to say to your son? He is such an amazing young man.
And I love him so much.
Oh, me too, Mom.
He excels at everything he does. He's amazing, and it's not fair to any of them. I feel in my heart that he's Damien's, and that would be the only one to carry on his name.
And that's why the stakes are so high.
Are you ready for this curveball? Enter Mr. Harmon, another contender in the fatherhood stakes. His recent enlightenment about the paternity claim amidst an ongoing friendship with Ms. Johnson layers additional complexity into the narrative, illustrating the tangled web of personal histories and connections at play here. And guess what? The surprises aren't stopping here. Keep watching.
And that you are one of 6 potential fathers. When is the first time you heard Damien could potentially be your biological son?
4 weeks ago.
Has Johnson reached out to you?
Well, we're friends. We're still friends.
Oh, wow. So you have been friends and you've seen Damien,
yes,
been around him,
yes,
but you never knew he could potentially be your biological son?
No, I didn't. I have other kids, but I don't think that he's mine.
Ready for a twist? The results are in.
The percentage of relatedness between Miss Lethea Murray and Damien Johnson is 0.00%. You are not.
Mr. Cooper learns that the man he believed was his father is not his biological father. Instead, the defendant, Mr. Newby, is alleged to be. Mr. Cooper's reaction reflects his shock and confusion about his identity and lineage. Grab some popcorn, because this roller coaster is just getting started.
Mr. Cooper, your mother recently came clean that the man you believe to be your dad is not your biological father, and the defendant is. Ms. Cooper, you say you held the secret for just too long, and you felt your son deserved to know that Mr. Newby is his father.
Did that really just happen? During a late-night call, Mr. Cooper's mother reveals a life-changing secret to him, that the man he thought was his father isn't, and points him towards Mr. Newby. This moment emphasizes the emotional weight of revealing such a secret and the impact it has on Mr. Cooper. The plot thickens, so stay tuned.
I get a call about 3 o'clock in the morning. My mama called and told me that the person she told me was my daddy wasn't my father, that this gentleman was, and to go online and look him up.
And this is what your mother tells you.
I mean, she was like, don't be mad at her or whatever. A lot of things ran through my mind.
Like
I
what?
thought it was a joke, actually. Honestly, I thought she was playing.
Because that was so far outside of your realm of thinking.
Yeah.
You can't make this stuff up. Ms. Cooper discloses that she did not realize she was pregnant until 5 months into her pregnancy, highlighting her naivety and the complexity of her situation as a teenager, unaware of her own body's changes. You won't want to miss what's next.
I didn't know I was pregnant. I didn't know I was pregnant until I was 5 months pregnant. I didn't know what pregnancy was. And then I had a teenage friend that was pregnant also at the time. And she was kind of the one that told me that she thought I might be pregnant too.
So you're so young that when you become pregnant, you don't even know.
Yes,
because you don't know you don't experience the changes in your body. You don't even know what's going on. A teen that says, I think you're pregnant too, and she was pregnant.
And the twists keep coming. The court learns that Ms. Cooper's mother assumed another young man was the father based on social interactions rather than truth, compounding the confusion and secrecy surrounding Mr. Cooper's paternity. Brace yourself. The next revelation is a doozy.
She just knew me and Mr. Newby to be just as friends. This other guy I went to the dance with, she just assumed that he was the father, and that's what she said it, and that's what it was.
She said it, and you did not contradict her, or you never mentioned Mr. Newby?
No, Your Honor.
And that goes back to that if you said Mr. Newby's name, you all would be separated. You would not be allowed to see him anymore.
Talk about a bombshell. Mr. Newby recounts his astonishment upon receiving a message about potentially being Mr. Cooper's father, a possibility he had never considered. This revelation underscores the sudden and profound challenges of unexpected paternity claims. Keep your eyes peeled. What happens next is jaw-dropping.
And then I text her back and she didn't say nothing. I said, you can't drop a bombshell on me like that. And I waited until she finally responded. Then I said, does he know this? I said, because how could I be the father? I never seen you pregnant.
You never saw her pregnant?
No, Your Honor.
How is it, she said when she went back to school, she had gained 2 sizes. You weren't in school when...
We didn't participate at the same school.
This just gets more tangled. Mr. Newby expresses his disbelief, having never seen Ms. Cooper pregnant, which highlights the separation and lack of communication that contributed to the paternity confusion. You'll be on the edge of your seat with the next bit.
You submitted that message to the court. This message says, you know what I gotta tell you, some real life. This is your son.
That's the first time I heard anything about this in 34 years.
What did you do at that point that you got the message?
I was just stunned, so I kept asking her questions. I asked her, does he know about this? How could I be the father? I mean, I never seen her pregnant. We all was kids. We all was messing with each other and all that kind of stuff back in the day.
Heartstrings are definitely being tugged here. Mr. Newby reflects on the missed opportunities and the impact of not being a part of Mr. Cooper's life, illustrating the emotional depth and regret involved in these revelations. Hold on to your socks because the results are coming up.
You never get to know what a great man my father was. It's kind of hit me a little.
I mean, I think...
A little more than it was hitting me. It's hit me a little bit more because I think back how my father raised me and how he treated my grandkids and stuff like that. Hit me. I'm just thinking about how my dad would have loved him, how he would have loved my dad.
The big reveal is finally here. The DNA test results reveal that.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Newby, you are not the father.
Can you handle this drama? Ms. Sanchez presents her case, stressing the importance of the DNA results to validate the paternity of her son, which she believes is essential for advancing her spiritual marriage to a legal one with Mr. Turman. She emotionally conveys that these results could potentially save their troubled relationship, which has been marred by accusations and mistrust. And just when you think it can't get any more intense, it does.
Ms. Sanchez, you say today's DNA results mean everything. You are spiritually married to the defendant, but claim his denial denial that he fathered your 8-month-old son has stopped him from legally marrying you. You need paternity proof to save this relationship.
This part is a real jaw-dropper. Mr. Turman expresses his doubts about being the father of Mrs. Sanchez's son, attributing his hesitation to legally marry her to these uncertainties and her alleged dishonesty. This moment underscores the deep-rooted issues of trust that are holding back their relationship, emphasizing the emotional and legal stakes involved in the outcome of the paternity test. Brace yourself, because the plot thickens right after this.
You doubt you are Jordan's father and say your marriage is not a real legal marriage, and it won't be unless Ms. Sanchez stops lying to you. So, Ms. Sanchez, why is today's result so important to you?
It's important to me to save my marriage with my husband because this has gone on for 2 years of accusations and lies, like that he doesn't trust me.
You won't see this one coming. The couple recounts their initial encounter via Tinder, which quickly led to a physical relationship on their first night of meeting. This backstory provides insight into the spontaneous beginnings of their relationship, setting the stage for ongoing trust issues highlighted by a humorous interaction with the judge regarding their swift connection. Wait till you see what's up next. It's a real cliffhanger.
We met on Tinder, and I'm swiping, and I came across her profile, and I super like. So super like is when it goes directly to them, so they know somebody likes you. So she liked me back, we connected. We were supposed to hang out first night. She declined because she was with somebody else she met from Tinder. So the second night is when we actually hung out. She came over, we had some drinks, one thing led to another, and we had sex the first night.
The first night you met?
Yes.
Here's where things get spicy. Mr. Turman details a confrontation that added to his suspicions about Ms. Sanchez's fidelity. He describes how a friend warned him about her reputation, which was a pivotal moment that further fueled his doubts about the paternity of the child and the sincerity of their relationship. Just when you think you've heard it all, the next segment adds more fuel to the fire.
That's where a lot of the trust issues came in, because I'm thinking one way, she's thinking another way. I showed my friends pictures of her because I'm hyped, and they send me a video like, yo, isn't this the girl you're talking to? She's at a bar giving somebody else her number. So it just started to form like issues with trust. That we met, then she probably could have slept with him the first night.
Things are heating up. A dramatic revelation occurs when Mr. Turman finds men's boxers in the trunk of their car, leading to a tense exchange in court. This incident is significant as it physically manifests the trust issues plaguing their relationship, bringing a tangible element into the disputes over fidelity and honesty. Up next, things get even more tangled.
We went to the grocery store, came back, so I go to the trunk to get the groceries or whatever, and I find men's boxers in the trunk. Now, I know for sure these aren't mine. I'm like, whose are these? These are not mine.
What?
So,
Jerome, I don't even know if I want to see that evidence, though.
They wash it? Yeah, I'll get it.
This next bit will keep you guessing. As they discuss potential conception dates, the couple delves into the specifics of their sexual encounters and the possible implications on the paternity of the child. This technical discussion highlights the complexity and emotional weight of their situation, with Mr. Turman clinging to every piece of evidence to justify his doubts. Fasten your seatbelts, because there's more drama ahead.
When is Jordan's birthday?
His birthday is July 9th.
And then I'll press calculate. Sex likely between October 15th and October 21st, 2017.
exactly, the date my friend seen her at the bar talking to the guys. I think it's possible that she went home with that guy and like me and her had sex on the first night. Could have been the same situation.
I never slept with that person.
Prepare for a bombshell. The court session reaches a peak when Ms. Sanchez admits to using hurtful tactics and arguments, revealing her intent to upset Mr. Turman by claiming he was not the father during a heated moment. This confession exposes the depth of their personal conflicts and the destructive patterns in their relationship. Don't go anywhere. The ultimate reveal is just around the corner.
You could hurt him a lot of other ways, with a lot of other words. Then the baby isn't yours. Have you really prepared yourself either way? This is a beautiful baby. 8 months, you say you're involved, you're on the birth certificate. With all of this, you still marched your little self in there and signed that birth certificate.
I did. You know, I want a family. I want that whole lifestyle. I love her. But if he's not mine, I just don't see myself moving forward, not having that trust in our situation.
And now for the grand finale. The episode concludes with the judge revealing the DNA results, confirming.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Turman, you are the father.
Buckle up, because here we go. Mr. Montgomery kicks off the episode with a bombshell, proclaiming his belief that he is the biological father of Ms. Parker's 3-month-old Timothy. He wasn't just a bystander at the birth. He named the baby and signed the birth certificate. Plot twist, Ms. Parker now claims her fiancé, Mr. Lanou, is actually the daddy, and the plot thickens. Just wait for what's coming up next.
Mr. Montgomery, you say Ms. Parker led you to believe that you fathered her 3-month-old son, Timothy Montgomery. You say you were present at the birth, named the baby, signed the birth certificate, but now Ms. Parker says you're not the father.
Hold on to your popcorn. Things are getting spicy. The judge listens intently as Ms. Parker expresses her eagerness to erase Mr. Montgomery's name from the birth certificate, fully convinced that Mr. Lanou is the real father. She's banking on today's DNA test to kick Mr. Montgomery to the curb officially. Brace yourself. The emotional roller coaster is just taking off.
Ms. Parker, you claim to be 100% positive that Mr. Montgomery is not your son's biological father because your fiancé, Mr. Lanou, is. Today's DNA test will finally allow you to get rid of Mr. Montgomery and allow you to remove his name from your son's birth certificate.
This next scene tugs at the heartstrings. Mr. Montgomery passionately recounts his deep involvement during Ms. Parker's pregnancy, believing wholeheartedly that he is Timothy's father. From prenatal appointments to emotional support, he was all in, even naming the boy after his late father. Don't go anywhere. The drama escalates quickly from here.
I believe I'm the father because, I loved her. Me and her were together. We were sexually active, without a shadow of a doubt. I just believe, she allowed me to sit there and sign the birth certificate.
Because
she allowed me
to
name the son after my deceased father.
Why would you allow him to do all of these things? At that time, did you or did you not believe he was Timothy's
I thought he was the father.
Things are heating up. As the argument between Mr. Montgomery and Ms. Parker escalates, the judge steps in to cool down the flaring tempers, reminding everyone to keep their eyes on the prize, figuring out who Timothy's father is. You won't want to miss what's revealed next.
You prying on a woman who's with another man, right?
I didn't have, if you would have stepped up, been there and actually satisfied her needs, you couldn't have if I wasn't.
Let's get some order. Calm down. You have to talk one at a time. I can't hear you, but you're not gonna clown up in here. I am going to ask questions. I need to get the answers because ultimately there is a child on the line. We're trying to figure out who Timothy's father is.
You thought it was juicy before? Just wait. It comes out that Mr. Montgomery was blissfully unaware of Ms. Parker's side dalliance with Mr. Lanou, which was happening right under his nose during her relationship with him. This bombshell raises massive questions about the child's paternity and Ms. Parker's credibility. The saga continues, and it's more tangled than ever.
You were sleeping with Ms. Parker while Mr. Montgomery would be in the house.
Upstairs in the shower. I even told him that we were sleeping together, and all he did, we was face to face, and all he did was walk to the stairs, sit down, and cry. Name a date, name a place. If you got a problem, you can square up with me any day I want.
You remember this conversation when you found out that they were sleeping together?
Absolutely not, Your Honor. I had my
Before
suspicions.
Timothy was born.
Before Timothy was born, no. I had my suspicions, but I never had, concrete evidence that they was actually sleeping around.
Grab your tissues for this one. Mr. Montgomery shares a tear-jerking account of Timothy's birth, his instant connection with the newborn, and his eagerness to embrace fatherhood, despite the swirling paternity doubts. This emotional whirlwind is far from over. Keep watching as tensions rise.
I'm sitting there, I'm holding him for the first time, I bring him to, her face, so she can see him because she had a C-section. I'm sitting there crying. I even told myself that, when he was born, I was like, I'm not gonna cry. Was I nervous? No, I was excited because the simple fact of the matter, I was told that I was gonna be and unlike most men, I was damn proud to hear that I was gonna be a father.
Just when you think you've seen it all, Ms. Parker drops a truth bomb, admitting she only told Mr. Montgomery about the potential other father weeks after the birth, further stirring the emotional pot. The climax of this courtroom drama is fast approaching, and it's a doozy.
Where's your proof?
At what point do you tell Mr. Montgomery, excuse me, there was another man in the picture?
3 weeks after he was born?
No,
Yep.
But this is because during that time, Your Honor, that he had threatened to Timothy.
Your Honor, she
without
told
her
me
knowledge,
in the bed
take him
after
to Cleveland.
First time she was able to have sex after the baby was born. She waited until after we were done to sit there and tell me, I don't think you're the father. I think, Luke's the father.
As the moment of truth nears, the courtroom is thick with anticipation. Everyone is on edge as they await the DNA test results that will undoubtedly flip lives upside down. The envelope, please, and get ready for a reveal that will rock the courtroom.
Jerome, I'm ready for the results. Thank you. Will you please stand in between them for the reading of the results? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostic.
And boom goes the dynamite. The results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Montgomery, you are not the father. Mr. Lanou, you are the father.
Can you believe what just happened? Mr. Tillman starts off by claiming that his biological daughter, Annetta, vanished from his life 3 decades ago, prompting his request for a DNA test to verify his paternity amid doubts stirred by Mr. Johnson. You think this is wild? Just wait for the next part.
Mr. Tillman, you claim your biological daughter, Annetta Tillman, disappeared out of your life 30 years ago, and you haven't seen her since. Now, paternity doubts have led to your petition for a DNA test to prove you are her father.
Here's where it gets juicy. Mr. Johnson steps into the spotlight as a pivotal character in this paternity drama. He shares his long-standing connection with Annetta's mother during her conception time and hopes today's DNA results will crown him as her biological father. Buckle up, this roller coaster is just getting started.
You are the reason for those paternity doubts. You also had a sexual relationship with Miss Tillman's mother at the time of conception and hope today's DNA results prove you are the biological father because you raised her.
And the plot thickens. Mr. Tillman delves into his rather casual relationship with Annetta's mother, starting as a friendship and spiraling into complexity when he discovered she was also involved with other men, Mr. Johnson included. You'll want to stick around because this tangled web is about to get even messier.
So you discovered she was also in a relationship with Mr. Johnson.
I didn't necessarily know that they were in a relationship, but I knew he was dealing with somebody else other than myself.
So Mr. Johnson, you were also in a relationship with the same woman?
Yes, Your Honor. When I met her, she wasn't working, and I was working at a bakery, so I got her a job there. She didn't have a way to get to work. I drove her to work and then took her back home and stuff. I only met Mr. Tillman briefly, one time. It was at a rooming house.
Twist alert. As we dive deeper, the court explores the complicated relationships at the time of Annetta's conception. Mr. Johnson claims ignorance of any real connection to Mr. Tillman beyond a fleeting meeting, adding layers to this mystery. And just when you think you've heard it all, there's more chaos to come.
Did you know about Mr. Tillman?
No, I only met him that one time, dropping her off home from work.
Do you remember this encounter?
He seen me more than once, because he's the one that came and told me when CC was in the hospital having, remember that?
What did Miss Tillman's mother tell you about
She came to my
pregnancy?
apartment one morning after we had been separated, I guess about maybe for almost 5 months. When she showed up at my door, she was pregnant, you know. I in a joking way asked her, what happened to her? And she told me she was pregnant, it was mine.
Did you catch that bombshell? During a heated discussion, Mr. Johnson admits to having a sexual encounter with Annetta's mother on the very day she also was with Mr. Tillman, casting major doubts about who the real father could be. The stakes are high, and the next revelation is even more startling.
It's like Elsa told me that you had sex with her that morning, around about
sex
12
with who?
o'clock. With Cece.
That's Miss Tillman's mother.
Yes, that's her
Okay.
mother. She told me she had sex with you that around about 12 o'clock. And I had stopped by there around about 3 something, and me and her had sex.
I don't remember.
Time for a curveball. Annetta Tillman enters the courtroom. Both gentlemen recognize the chance they might be her dad. Yet Annetta is puzzled since she's only ever seen Mr. Johnson as a father figure. Her reaction to the unfolding drama is something you don't want to miss.
Jerome, would you please escort Miss Tillman into the courtroom, please? Hello, Ms. Tillman. Thank you for being here. Stand over at the podium. Both of these men say that there's a possibility that they are your biological father. Who do you think your biological father is?
Honestly, George, I have no idea. My whole life, I've had Mr. Tillman's last name, but this is a gentleman I've never met before.
You have never, in your recollection, met Mr. Tillman before?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Grab your popcorn. This is getting good. Mr. Tillman recounts his early involvement in Annetta's life, insisting he was around until mysterious circumstances led to her being sent away. This tale of disappearing acts and hidden truths is about to reveal even more, so keep watching.
After your mother and him sent you to Georgia, I lost contact with you.
But you know my name, you know my
I came back several times trying to find you, and I don't know.
How could you not find me?
I couldn't
find you. I mean, Mr. Johnson, it's a
Mr. Johnny and your
possibility
mother was full of crap,
He
right?
was
Full of crap?
Yeah.
You said you used to pick her up
Yes.
when she was little and take her
yes.
away.
I'm the one
have.
that gave her first birthday party.
You won't believe this twist. The DNA results for
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Tillman, you are her father.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.